This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hour number 2 underway, 8 a.m. Friday, June 26th, right here on Jocks. We talked to LSU's roster against some other teams in the SEC. One of those teams that we feel like they are not going to be ahead of, both with roster and with what they actually accomplished this season, are the Georgia Bulldogs. Going to take a different spin on Georgia here in just a moment. First, I'll tell you about Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group. If you are looking for a new home in Central Alabama, it has got to be the Gusty Goulas Group. Why? Well, they serve more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. You can trust Gusty's aggressive and proven selling system. He's got what it takes to attract hundreds of qualified buyers that want your home. Gusty has over 850 5-star Google reviews. Search it for yourself today. Gusty Goulas Group, brokered by eXp Realty. Go to GustyGoulasGroup.com. You'll see a button at the top right-hand corner of the page. Smash that button. Very little information. They're going to be able to tell you what they think they can get for your home today. 205-542-1996. 205-542-1996 today, or go to GustyGoulasGroup.com and start packing. Okay, James Colgan joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. James has an interesting article up about the Georgia Bulldogs, but you probably know James's name because he's joined us on the show before to discuss golf. Why is a golf course a massive part of the Georgia offseason and what's happening in Athens, James?
Oh man, Cole, it's a loaded question. It's what I've spent the last couple of months of my life trying to figure out. A couple of months ago, I got a phone call from a mutual friend who said, "Hey, I got a story for you down in Athens, Georgia." I said, "Sure, what's up? What's going on?" And he said, "There's a golf course that's being built about 15 minutes away from campus at UGA that is existing as its own private club. It's a brand new course being built by these two brothers who are real estate developers. But here's the hook: they're trying to kind of put this thing together as a way to assist some of the recruiting efforts of the university. The kind of underlying effort here is not just to have a great golf club, not just to have an awesome, place for people to come back to, but also to have a place where, alumni and boosters and members of the current football program can come in to assist with the efforts of the team, can have a place to congregate during game day weekends and have a place to come together when recruits are being visited. And so there's this really, really interesting story here of this brand new golf club. It's called The Rose. It's just opened in Athens, and it's existing not just as a private golf club, but also as a tool to kind of help the football team reach some new heights here for the university, which is super fascinating.
So give us like the details on the club, like 18-hole course. Is there anything else like pool, tennis going with it, like clubhouse, places to stay? Like what are we talking about here?
Oh man, it's whole run. So there's a downtown club first and foremost. There's a space that exists just a few blocks away from the university that's located right on a street corner, kind of on the main drag there in Athens, where people can go to get drinks. They can hang out. There's a full restaurant. There's a bar. There's just places to generally hang out. And then down the road at the golf course, there's a massive clubhouse that's still in the final stages of being built now. There's a pool attached to the clubhouse as well. And then there's going to be a place for people, a retreat is what they're calling it, for members who are coming in from out of town to stay while they are in attendance to play the golf course and hang out at the club. And then, of course, there's the crown jewel, which is the golf course itself. It's an 18-hole course. It was designed by this architect named Tripp Davis, who is not like a huge name in the golf course architecture world, but is definitely a rising star. And effectively what the two brothers who built this golf course said when they went to the golf course architect is, hey, we want you to make the course that will define your career here. However much money it costs, whatever the effort takes, like that is what we want. And so the result that they have is really this high-end golf course. I was lucky to play it a couple weeks ago and really see it up close. And I mean, it's freaking hard, let me tell you. But I think part of the goal is that they want a place that can not just be a really great course for the members, but also could maybe be a prestigious course, prestigious enough to host a USGA event or a really serious golf tournament. That's obviously, a little bit further down the line. But yeah, 18-hole golf course, clubhouse, downtown club, the whole 9 yards there for the membership of the new club.
I think the craziest part about this is if you go to some of these college towns, which you have, and they're all exploding, be it Starkville, Auburn, Oxford, Athens. Athens, I think, has been a little bit ahead of the curve, kind of there with Gainesville, Baton Rouge. But like to be able to find the space to do this, number one, that close to campus is what's really surprising. How are they able to pull that part off?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think honestly, the thing that originally drew me to this story is that it feels like a small thing that speaks to a much bigger thing, right? Like there's this massive moment happening in college athletics with NIL and with just the proliferation of really the business of college football that is super interesting, right? It's changing the way that we enjoy the sport that we all love. I'm a huge college football fan. Like, it's altering the way that we perceive college football. And yet there are all of these small things that are happening on the periphery that don't look like they're massive developments, but are actually affecting teams' win and loss records year by year. And so when I heard about this and I heard about, the goal of it, I was really interested to kind of try to speak to some of the people involved with UGA football and ask them, hey, what is going on with the Bulldogs? Like, how do they benefit as a result of having this, this club existing? And I was able to talk to two of the members of the club, Kirby Smart and Matt Stafford, obviously two big names in Georgia football. And I asked them both this question, like, what's the bigger picture here? How is this helping out? And, as Kirby said to me, like, this is, but, as like business happens on the golf course. Like, that's where people come together. That's an opportunity, not just for Kirby, but for his staff to meet with new people, to talk with new people, and to figure out, okay, what are we going to do to advance the cause of Georgia football here in Athens? And I think we're seeing this in the way that these new facilities are being built across the SEC particularly, but really across all of college football. And we're seeing it in the form of, all of these massive new funds that exist to help attract new recruits and new talent to the universities. As far as the actual land is concerned, it was a fairly simple thing. The two brothers, the Cassinis, who built this golf course, are both real estate developers, and they're both golf diehards. Nick Cassini actually is a pretty legendary Bulldog golfer. He has the fourth best scoring average of any player in Georgia golf history. And so they kind of knew what they were looking for when it came to a golf course. They had an idea that they wanted to give back to their kind of home community. The Athens, town had really adopted the Cassinis when they were just teenagers. And so when they decided to, build this thing, they kind of just went looking for a good parcel of land. And that's something that they knew pretty well from their jobs. And so they found this place that was hanging just over the county line. And it had a beautiful, beautiful like stretch of land. There was wheat was being grown on the property. So it actually looked like a golf course already because of the way that things were growing in on the land and whatnot. So basically, as the brothers explained it to me, they showed up and they've been looking for more than a year for a place to build. They walked on this property, and within an hour they had submitted the bid to buy it because they just knew that it was going to be a great venue for a golf course. So it's one of those funny things where when you're involved in the golf world, you learn these things. You see how these crazy pieces of land can suddenly become a golf course. That was certainly the case in the instance of the Rose.
Okay, so here I guess is the real question that a lot of people may be interested in. We're talking to James Colgan on the Higginbotham Hotline. You can find his work at golf.com. Entry. How do you become a part of this?
Well, I think the brothers would tell you that the best way to become part of it is to be a great golfer and to have some sort of commitment to to the Rose as a, or to the area of Athens rather as generally an attraction. The brothers have built the structure of the club, so it's membership by invitation only, and invitation comes by referral from other members. So the way that they have been sort of operating is they are attracting the attention of, the best people in the golf world, in the Georgia world, the University of Georgia world, and of course in the Athens world. And they're trying to attract all of those people to kind of just come in and see what the club is about. And then from there, I think they're kind of using referrals to figure out their way in. But if you wanted to get a tee time out there, if you wanted to just check out the golf course, I would say if you've got some buddies in the Athens area, odds are pretty good. It's a small town. Everybody knows everybody when it comes to that. I think that would be the best way out.
Is there like a direct tie with Georgia football, former players, things of that nature that is either going to get you on the course or get you in the club, something along those lines?
Yeah, I think there's no formal path between the two sides, but I mean the history of Georgia football is tied so closely with golf. The practice field is called the House of Payne, and that's for Billy Payne, who was the Augusta National chairman for 20 years. This is a football program that has had a long connection to the sport. And as far as the actual connection, I mean, there are plenty of former Georgia football players and current, staff and administration who are involved with the new club. So that is one very easy way out. But I'm sure that there will be other ways for people to work their way through. I mean, just talking with the Cassinis about their efforts, like their hopes are that this will be a meeting spot for people involved with the program and people who are passionate about the program. But they talked with both of them and asked how much of this is about the couple Saturdays a year when you've got, football games in Athens, and how much of it is about all the other time when, there aren't football games, but people might want to go to Athens. And what they said to me is like the number one thing that we thought about as we were building this course and just, thinking about building this course is how it would look on Saturday mornings in the fall, right before a noon kickoff or an 8 p.m. kickoff, how they could keep things going during these big football weeks to make it so that there is an additive thing to the university that would make people want to fly down, want to come back to Athens, or if they're not from Athens originally, don't have a connection to the area, would make them want to go to Athens for a football game. And I could say, at the very least, from my own experience, as someone who had never been to Athens prior to reporting this story, I certainly understand the allure now. I mean, I'm dying to go to a Dogs game after checking all that out.
It's a cool town. The article up now, Inside Georgia Football, Surprising New Secret Weapon. James Colgan, golf.com, joining us to discuss it. It's really cool. And golf has become overlapped with football in a lot of different ways. So especially in that state, we know how important golf is and how many football fans are also golf fans. But the good news for the Cassinis, James, is Georgia ain't going to have a lot of noon kickoffs. So they'll be able to get a lot of those tee times jammed in before the Dogs play later in the day.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. Thanks for joining us. It's a cool article. It really is. And I appreciate you taking some time to discuss it with us.
Cole, you're the man. And hey, just thinking about you, I've had dogs my entire life. I was born and raised with a big 90-pound yellow lab. So just thinking about you. Hope the family's doing well.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. James Colgan joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, golf.com. Well, we'll share that article from the Mac and Cube account where you can go check that out and go see it. But it is cool to think about. I mean, you got Matt Stafford coming back to play it already. You got Kirby Smart playing over there. Like that's going to be a destination of its own. And then they'll find ways for that to assist the Georgia football team to be able to now have that there. But a little bit of a different spin on what's happening with Kirby Smart, what's happening in Athens, what's happening with Georgia. Let's talk a little bit more about them, what they really could be, the ceiling, maybe the floor for Georgia football. We'll do that next right here on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, and Three-Man Front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.
Square Up.
Yo, what's going on, man? It's Andre Berto, two-time world champion. I fought. I loved it. I really wanted to do that sit down from a fighter's perspective. My G. What's going on? Caleb Clatts. What's going on, my boy? Now you got a chance to really draw in your audience, to let them see who you are.
I've had to have a lot of internal talks to say, do I even want to carry on?
As fighters, we know what time it is. Like I say, the time is now.
Square Up.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Let's go.
This isn't your average podcast.
You like party?
This is Full Send. Join the party.
So you guys launched the Nelk Love Island. Congrats, boys.
Who's that?
Like a production, dude.
Like 5 years ago, we could do that easily and it'd be crazy when we're partying, but when you're like in your 30s a little bit.
Well, that's why you barely show up to set, day 2.
Just a few hours tardy.
Steiny wanted to be the host of the show, too. It's like, why didn't you let me be the host? It's like, bro, you showed up 6 hours late every day.
I had a girlfriend.
The Full Send podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.